Hey everyone, it's Erica Henry here with Rebel Stitchers, and in today's lesson I'm going to show you how to warp your frame loom or lap loom. And these are kits that I sell in my shop. I have a small, this is the large. I have an introductory video. It explains my choices, like why I like to use a wood that's a little bit flexible and what all is included in the kit. So we are going to use, to warp this, I'm going to show you a couple of options that I like. Sorry, excuse the dog hair here. I have 3 dogs and a cat, and so hair gets everywhere. And I process all the fleeces, so yeah, there's wool, there's just, it's just part of it. I do the best I can, but anyway. So we have some options. This cotton crochet thread and a lace weight is one of my favorite things to use. And then I've got a cone of some cotton as well, and then a cone of some thicker cotton. If you're noticing a trend, I like to use cotton for my warp thread. And then I just have some cotton butcher's twine as well. So those are some options, and I like all of them for different reasons. So I advise you just kind of try some things out and see what works best for you. I think today I'm going to use this off-white cone here. I think it'll show up pretty good on camera. So with these looms, you have 2 options. You can do portrait mode or landscape. If you're a tight weaver, I suggest doing landscape because it is more rigid, but I personally prefer to do portrait mode, and even though this is bendable, there's a reason for that. I did talk about it in my previous video, but I will talk about it here as well. I feel like it's easier to get on and off of the loom and to work with the loom, and it reminds me not to weave too tight. So I've had my loom for about a year now, I think, maybe more, probably more. I've used it quite a bit and it's held up great. This was a brand new one that I took out of the packaging in the last video, but it's the same exact wood manufacturer, everything. So all I did was make a slip knot, and I'm going to loop that around that first peg. Okay. Now you're just going to come down and wrap around that one. Wrap around number 2, come down to the bottom, wrap around number 2, there we go. Wrap around number 3. And I find it easier to try to get like quite a bit off the cone as I'm working with this. All right, wrap around number 3, up to 4, down to 4. And you're just going to continue this however far you want it. Some people don't want to work the entire length or entire width. Totally agreeable, totally understand. Some people just want something very thin. Some people want the whole thing. Same thing if you're doing in landscape mode. I'll show you that in just a second as well. So you don't want this extremely tight, but you don't want it extremely loose. So just, you know, you don't want too much slack, but don't be pulling so hard that you do end up breaking anything or snapping your yarn. Just taunt, you know. I hope that makes sense. And when I'm doing this not on camera, I'm usually at a completely different angle, but I'm trying to be able to show you what it is I'm doing. So other angles are definitely easier. And when people ask me which size they should get, it's personal preference, but if you're not going to get both, I do suggest, if you're not going to be traveling with it a ton, I would get the large. If you're going to be traveling a ton, I would get the small, just for the ease of it being small. But with the large, you can do small weavings as well, but you can only go as big as the loom. So we got a little small knot. Okay. Now, when you get to the end, you've got a couple of options. You can either stop it here, or you can bring it back up. I personally like to bring it back up, so I've got the same number on the bottom as I do the top. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 48 on the top and 48 on the bottom. So when I get to the top here, I personally like to just kind of weave it around this corner. You can also tie it off here. It doesn't really matter. And in the next video, I'll show you how to use this in landscape mode and show you how to do that. So I'm just going to tie this off here, little slip knot, just so everything stays in place. Okay. All right, we're going to get these strings out of the way. Same thing, you can just kind of wrap it around to hold this extra. I'm going to wrap this around to hold this extra tail. Now, as I said, the things that I'm going to show you in these videos are not the only way. I'm not a professional. What I say is not the only way to do it, and I'm just going to show you my way. So that is how you warp this, and once that's done, you can get started.